Welcome back, everybody. I am glad you're here. Today we're in part 3 of the Colt WW1 Reproduction 1911 series. Really excited about this today. This is going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys recall, we're going to do a quick recap. In part 1 and 2, basically we did a detailed examination of this 1911 here. And then in part 2, we did a bunch of shooting, and it was a blast, and I loved it, and I just was happy as a clam. And the basic opinion I walk away with this pistol is this is my favorite 1911, by far. You know, if you guys recall, I said in those earlier videos, this has been a bucket list gun for me literally since I was like in my teens. Because, you know, I've always wanted a pre-war 1911, but I'm not a collector. I don't have that gene. I don't have that in my bones. And there's people who try to talk me into it. Like, oh, you just got to do this. And you just got to think of it like this. Look, you're trying to mess with the wiring of who I am as a person. It's just not going to work. I'm not a collector. I am an end user. I like to use things. I don't like having this thing that I have to baby and be careful with and worry that is today the day that I'm going to frag this thing and crack the slide or the frame or whatever. I don't want to worry about that. But at the same time, I love pre-war 1911s. They're beautiful. They're functional. I just think they're great. And so this for me was a dream come true, literally. I'm not just saying that. I mean, I've been dreaming about these since they came out. And I always thought, well, I'll never get one because there was only 4,000 made, and as many as that is, that's a lot of guns. That's also not a lot of guns when you consider how quickly people bought them up, right? And so anyway, I ended up getting this one, and this is the 100th anniversary. And basically there's two iterations. Well, there's several, but there's two periods where these pre-war reproductions came out. You had the 2008, which is where they did the Black Army runs. And then you had the 2011, the 100th anniversary, and you had 3 tiers. This one is the tier 3. What I wanted is I wanted it to be Colt. I wanted it to be well made, blued, all that stuff. The markings don't mean as much to me because it's got sort of the functional pieces that are important to me. And so this gun very quickly became my number one favorite 1911. It's a dream, honestly. It's a bucket list gun, and I'm so blessed to have it, really. It's not because of the provenance and the rarity and the collector's value. I don't give a crap about any of that. This is a pre-war gun that I can shoot without fear or guilt, and it's right. I love it. So fast forward a few weeks. I'm sitting in my workshop here and making some 45 ACP, and I've got, podcasts going, things like that. And I go over to close the tab on one of my browser windows, and of course, got the good old gun broker open. It has that sort of like things you might be interested in list. And in that list is one of the 2008 Black Army. What makes those guns so valuable? It's what I just said. It's not that they're collector's items. I really don't believe that. I believe deep down the reason people value them so much is because it's a pre-war gun that they can actually shoot without guilt. That I'm telling you, that is what's underneath it. Now, the goofy commemorative, like gold inlaid ones and all that stuff, okay, that's like a collector's item. And frankly, I don't know anybody who really is super into those. So I see this Black Army listed, and it's listed for a very reasonable start bid. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm just going to take a swing. Let's just throw the lowest bid number in there, and then I'm going to walk away. And if miracles can happen a second time, because it's kind of what happened with this guy, then I'll win it. And great, and I moved on. About an hour later, phone goes off. Yeah, guess what? I won it. So not only do I own now this guy, which is fantastic, but I actually have here in the box a Black Army 2008 reproduction World War I. I'm stoked. Really. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to be as detailed in this video, and we're not going to go through every little detail. I'm not going to do the same routine. Really, I want to kind of just compare it to this one and see, is this quality repeated across these two models? I think that's the more interesting question. So we're going to unbox it. So here we are. Once again, we got all the legal stuff on the right with, again, the waxed magazine, the wax paper covered mag, the manual, all the good stuff. We're not going to really go through this. I want to get right to the meat. So right away, this box is way cooler than the last one for the simple reason you have this super like cool matching serial number, old school box, right? Just the fact. Now the other one had like on the side 100th year anniversary model, right? It's more of a commemorative deal, but this one is supposed to be like 1918 Black Army, World War I issue gun. And here we go. So we got the same magazines. Now, I want to deal with this. A lot of people are like, where's the lanyard loop on the magazine? It's not correct, guys. Not all pre-wars are the same. Like, you got to realize these pistols changed from their inception like twice, 3 times a year for the first 10, 15 years they were around. I mean, the roll marks, the finishes, the grips, the parts, the sights, the marking, like you just go down the list. These were not like bang from day one. That's a pre-war. No, they ebbed and flowed and changed a lot. Specifically the lanyard loops on the magazines disappeared in 1915. So now I know these are not two-tone mags, but the fact that it doesn't have lanyard loops on the mags is actually correct. So we can put that to bed. And here we are. Now, I got a really good deal on this 1911 for one simple reason. Well, 2, really. The first is this gun has been fired. And who cares? That's my response. The second is you can see there are some blemishes on the slide. This has been holstered, very obviously. And that's okay with me. I'm going to do much worse to it. But this thing's going to go in a holster. It's going to get shot. And, that's what we're going to do with it. So let's just examine this guy. So yeah, the slide definitely has some blemishes, right? No big deal. That's kind of a good thing to me because the seal's broken, right? I haven't quite broken the seal with this guy yet because this was mint and unfired. I kind of did with the barrel hood there, but you guys know what I mean. Like I haven't actually put a dent or a scratch in it. This one's kind of cool because we've already crossed that boundary. So visually, pretty identical. I will say these grips look much better. They're darker stain. They still have that kind of goofy offset look that's not quite right, but these are going to stay for now. I mean, what I would like to do is maybe get like some wood caliber Purple Heart double diamonds. Those are a little bit tough because they're never in stock, but I would like to do something like that. But for now, these are going to stay. I'm not interested in changing that. Now, I say this gun's been shot, but it's like very little. Very little. I mean, there's like just no wear on the barrel hood at all. Very, very little. That's my first time pulling the slide back. The barrel has, I mean, just like, you're probably not even going to be able to see it on camera. Very, very little wear. The roll marks are much better on the Black Army version. The roll marks on the 100th anniversary are rough. They're kind of crude, and the United States property area looks like they kind of missed it, and then they redid it, and it's not perfectly aligned. So the roll marks on the 100th anniversary are much deeper and sort of crude. These are a lot cleaner. I mean, they look a lot better. Grip safety is a little bit loosey-goosey. Thumb safety feels very bad. Feels good going down. Going up, it's kind of like, what is that? I'm just pushing through a bunch of crunch and grit, and it feels like it's getting stuck on something, so that's not great. We're going to have to work on that. Trigger, take up, beautiful. Reset, beautiful. Okay, so the most important part, they got that right. This is a very, very nice trigger, just like the other one. No creep, very sharp, beautiful break. So yeah, so far we're doing really good. This is very, very, very annoying. Makes me quite angry, actually. The rear sight has been drifted because people are retarded. I'm not going to monologue about that. Suffice it to say that is a dumb move. I really despise that. So I'm going to have to drift that back. Front sight is solid, no issues there. The bushing on the nose feels or looks a lot better. This one is actually, it matches the rest of the gun, whereas the one on the 100th year anniversary, it's like very ugly and crude, has this circular machining around it, whereas the one on the Black Army actually matches the rest of the gun. Very well done. You can see that there. The only things right now that I think are better on this one, on the Black Army, are the roll marks look a lot better, and the finish on the barrel bushing. Other than that, this one has some work that needs to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this open. I'm going to do some of that work, and let's see how she looks afterward. So one small note, we talked about this last time, that this little notch that's knocked into the spring cap is there to capture on the spring so that you don't lose the cap. This one is actually done properly because you can see it's not coming off. So this is an old school thing. I actually like it. I think it's cool. And just so you know, like, this is really clever. Basically, it unscrews from the spring. So you just unscrew it like this. Off it comes. All right, internals. The machining's a little bit rougher on this one, on the internals. Okay, we used our sight pusher and got that rear sight centered back up as it should be. So that's done. Looking down the bore, everything looks really good. The barrel overall, yeah, just solid. Not a lot to say there. It's dirty. They never run a bore snake through it, but that's okay. We can fix that. Once again, underneath the grips, we've got a hidden pony. Just gotta love it, man. I didn't get that on video, but knocking out the main pin for the mainspring housing that took like way too much force. I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe it's just a well-fit pin, but I don't even know that this has ever been taken apart before, I'll be honest. Doesn't look filthy so far, but yeah, that took a lot of force to get that pin out. All right, and just like the last one, I see a very purposeful effort on this sear to get this sear right, and it is right. It's excellent, so no complaints there. Disconnector, same deal. Everything looks really good. Leaf spring on this one, or the sear spring, whichever you prefer, looks great. It looks like this has been cleaned, so we're going to keep that in there. All right, so the gun's completely, apart. Everything looks great, really. It all looks really good. The story with this gun so far is it's been well kept. Somebody's clearly taken this apart before and cleaned it. Ejector's good. Plunger housing is good. I mean, it seems solid. It's just not tuned very well. So I've already put a little bit more pitch in the mainspring for the grip safety, in the leaf spring for the grip safety. The trigger feels great, so I don't want to mess with that. That's going to stay as is. We are going to have to work on the thumb safety a little bit. It's a little bit crude and thuddy, and it's getting stuck in the upward position. So safety lock's going to need some work. Yeah, easy day though. This is no big deal. Everything here is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and tune some of this stuff up, and we will keep moving. So as per the usual arrangement, I am cleaning as I reassemble, and cleaning and re-lubricating and all that good stuff. But one little tip here, what you can do is you can take your oil dropper and drop it down the plunger assembly. Drop it, just a good bead of oil down there. Take a pipe cleaner and run it through, because this is an area that seldom gets cleaned, and this one's really clean. But if especially a gun that's been sitting for a long time, you don't want rust to be living in there. So it's just a really easy way to clean the inside of that plunger assembly, lubricate it. Now it's good to go. Okay, so still working on things as I put this back together, and I'm into the slide at this point. And slide looks good. Firing pin's good, but the extractor was not tuned at all. However, it looked like somebody already profiled the bottom left corner, and they did a great job. So I cleaned up one little piece there that had a little bit of a burr, maybe, something they missed, but this extractor's been adjusted just how I like it. So I'm going to leave that. I did put a little bit more of a kick in it because the tension wasn't quite right. And yeah, we're going to keep on moving. Everything's looking good right now. All right, everybody, we are outside in a little bit of a different area, some different scenery, but I thought this would be good. We got some natural light out here. Good time of day to show off the beauty of some of these guns I've got here. So what I want to do, three things really quickly to close this video out. One is I want to just highlight some of the differences between the 100th anniversary and the 1918 Black Army. I want to tell you what I did to the Black Army to sort of get it up to speed today. And I want to close out with just some musings on what these pistols mean to me, but maybe what they might mean to you if you were to go after one. So first of all, differences between these two are very minimal. It really comes down to markings. On the 2011 build, the 100th anniversary, you have model of 1911 through 2011. On the other side, you have the ring around the pony there, and then you have the adoption date of the 1911. There's no other difference between these two pistols. They have the same parts, they have the same finish, build quality is the same. Setup was a little bit different out of the box, but you know, look, I think they did like 4,000 of these and 4,000 of the Black Armies. Out of 8,000 to have a little bit of variation between guns, I'll let that slide. This one is the tier 3, so it's very close to the Black Army, which is why I got it. Because at the time, there wasn't any Black Armies available, except for ones that were like $4,000, which is dumb. So this was a small fraction of that and got a really good price on it. And I love this one. This is my favorite 1911 by far, my favorite pistol in general. And it now wears the MD Grips elk antler grips. This is like my 1911. And with these markings being a little bit different and the grips on there, this one feels like more of a commercial 1911, a little more personalized. So it's going to stay just like this. I love it. This gun runs great. It shoots great. Really pleased with that one. Then the Black Army, you can see the markings are a little different. We've got the patent numbers there. We don't have a ring around the pony. We do have a simulated inspection mark like you would have seen back in the day. And then on the other side, you have model of 1911 U.S. Army. That's it. Again, they come set up, same finish, same everything. The grips on this one are way better. They're nice and dark. The other ones that came on this one were just too orange, so that worked out with the elk antler grips being on there. This one looks the part. This looks like a 1918 gun. It looks really, really good. So between these two, they are very, very close. The only other thing I will say is on the left side of the 100th anniversary, the roll marks are a little rough, whereas the roll marks on the 1918 are very clean. They're a lot just better done. And in fact, it looks like on the United States property, on the dust cover, it looks like they did that twice. It looks like they screwed it up the first time and tried to re-roll it. Didn't quite make it. But again, I'm going to overlook that. So very, very close guns. In fact, if you don't really know what you're looking for, you would look at these and go, they're the same, because they kind of are, right? 100th anniversary is behind us on the wall. So to get this one set up, basically here's what we did. 18.5-pound recoil spring. Now I'm out of 16s. I didn't realize that till I cracked open my parts box, but it's going to have to sport an 18.5 for a little while till the new ones come in. Not a big deal. We also put a little bit more pitch in the leaf spring to give that grip safety more tension. It was a little bit floppy for my taste. Also worked on the safety lock or the thumb safety. Now it's nice and crisp and doing its job properly. Before it was getting hung up on the top end and really gritty on the mid-travel, so now that's feeling really, really nice. Also tune the extractor. Just in terms of tension, it required just a little more profiling on the bottom left corner, it was already profiled moderately well, but I kind of have a way that I like to do it, so I worked on that. Now it's feeling really good. All the bench tests are feeling pretty positive. And then finally, some O-rings on the grip screws, as is customary around here. And the gun is feeling fantastic. Trigger needs nothing. This trigger is perfect. A little bit of take up, pull, 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 and ultra crisp. Ultra crisp. They feel identical. This one feels a little heavier. I don't want to touch it though. That one's been shot a good bit, so this one will wear in. It's great where it is. I'm not changing it. Barrel fit, excellent. Slide to frame fit is a little looser, a tad bit looser on the Black Army. Nothing to write home about, just notating that. So that's it. Took me 27 minutes to completely disassemble, clean, lubricate, tune the parts I just mentioned, and get it up and running. Very small investment of my time to get this thing working the way it should be. And finally, this one will be keeping the stock grips. Again, they look really good. They have that old, darker look to them. Although they're still, the diamonds aren't really super symmetrical. They still have a goofiness to them, but they're good enough for now. Eventually, what I'd like to do is get some wood caliber Purple Heart double diamonds. I think those would look really, really good on there. But for now, these are great. Why do I have these? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory for that one. Well, and both of them, they're bucket list guns for me. They are my dream guns. There's nothing higher than this. This is it. Even a real vintage pre-war doesn't have the same draw that this does to me. And the reason is, as I've said, I can't feel good shooting a pre-war the way I want to. I'm going to just worry too much. Because look, the reality is, guys, the metallurgy in the old pre-war guns just doesn't have the same life in it that a modern gun does. Can you shoot them? Yes. But there's a big question mark. How much have they been shot before you got it? And are you going to be the one who blows up a barrel or frags a frame or a slide? I don't want to be that guy. I just don't want to worry about that. So for me, this has the look, it has the feel. It's a pre-war 1911 that I can shoot guilt-free, worry-free. I can just run it, not think about it. And I don't want to think about it. So they are two legit dream guns for me. And it's great now that I got two of them. I got the Army version, and then I've got the more personalized version. I don't have to keep swapping grips depending on my my mood and which grips I want to see. And that's one thing about me is I'm a pair and a spare guy. I like to have minimum two of everything. I'm just weird like that. And having two of these is great because I can have the Army look and the personal look. It's fantastic. But there's an art to these guns that I love. And, you know, why do I like pre-wars so much? Well, I mean, the obvious stuff that we all say. I think John Moses Browning got it right. This version that was adopted by the Army is perfection. Functionally, there's some hiccups, right? Some people really struggle with the sights. They are small. The hammer bite is brutal. Make no mistake. It's a bear. It's tough. But other than that, I think the gun's pretty dead on. Like, I think they nailed it, and I don't really think any of the other modern changes do anything for you. And when I see a pre-war 1911, I am drawn to, I think, just an incredible time in our history. It reminds me of who we are. I mean, this is the pistol that brought us into the modern age in terms of firearms. This put a dent in time with gun design. You know, John Moses Browning changed things with this gun. And so much so, he was so ahead of his time that here we are in 2025. I still carry these guns. We're still buying them. In fact, in the past 10 years alone, the estimates that I've been able to dig up are something like 1.8 million 1911s sold. That's an unimaginable amount of 1911s that have been sold. These guns are still carried by some law enforcement, some military, a lot of civilians, competition shooters. They're as relevant as they've ever been. And so they're just a gun that you have to appreciate. You have to acknowledge the function, the simplicity, the ease of use, the accuracy, the reliability they're remarkable. So besides these being bucket list guns for me, the other reason I think to get them is, look, they still work. And this gets to, I will say this pistol is really touches the heart of this YouTube channel. We are old path travelers. We believe that just because it's old doesn't mean it's obsolete. And I will let you guys in on one of the foundational principles that helped me start this channel is Jeremiah 6:16. It says, stop at the crossroads and ask for the old path that you may walk in it. And there's just something to that, you know, sometimes the wise thing to do is to go, what's the old way? How did they used to do things? Because I don't think the further you go into the future, the wiser people get. I don't think that's true. I actually think it's the opposite. And this pistol represents that old path. American ingenuity, beauty, pride in what you do, toughness. It's just, you know, there's a lot of art in what I'm saying, but those of you who understand will appreciate what I'm saying, that the pre-war 1911 is emblematic of that old America that I love. So that's part of the beauty of these guns. It's not just the gun itself being beautiful, it's the time it came from, it's what it represents. It's a piece of art in concept and in actuality, and it's still completely functional, and so you have a beautiful convergence of those two worlds in one thing. And I love the pre-war 1911. It'll never go away. So there it is, everybody. That is the Colt World War I Reproduction. I'm really glad to be able to share this with you, and definitely will be shooting this soon. There it is. Gotta love it. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you on the next one.